Hey everyone, Bill Parish here of GTT Audio, and welcome to the channel today. Today I'm going to talk to you about a pair of speakers that's new here at GTT that I am very excited about. But first, a little backstory. It all started in 2017 when good friends of mine, Damon von Schweikert and Leif Swanson, called me up and asked me if I would participate at the Rocky Mountain Show, share a room with them, where my contribution would be the Kronos turntables and AudioNet electronics. And once we booked the room, we found out that there would be two rooms. So rather than leaving a room empty, we decided we would put a big system together and a small system together. And both of them were truly amazing. Even though that year there was very low turnout at Rocky Mountain. Rocky Mountain 2017 was not the best year. But that small room drew more people in, got more attention. What we had in there, I brought the AudioNet CD player, the Plonk, and the AudioNet Ampere, and these two units together, in my opinion, and many others believe this is the best digital CD player you can get in today's market. And then we brought the Watt integrated. And there's been enough press and enough reviews on the Watt, I don't need to tell you how good that is. Everyone else has. I mean, just look up AudioNet Watt integrated in positivefeedback.com or go over to AV showrooms, check that out. Check out some of those show reports from 2017 RMAF. But the speakers that we were using master-built cables because they're distributed by von Schweikert. The speakers were the Endeavor 3 Mark IIs, or E3 Mark II as they're known. And they blew everyone away. Very special speaker. And I was blown away by the speaker, and those speakers are under $10,000 US. And they were blown away by the AudioNet electronics. Well, anyway, long story short, as we progress, von Schweikert has now, what I would call, given the E3 Mark II's a steroid treatment. They've come out with the Endeavor Special Edition, or the ESE, as we'll call it. The ESE is unbelievable. Leif was telling me all about it and was doing an East Coast tour and asked if he could stop by with a pair. We hooked it up to the Humboldt and was just, jaw-dropping. And Leif's like, that is what my speakers sound like. That's how they're supposed to sound. Well, it took, I don't know, a couple of songs. I go through a different, play some classical, some jazz, some vocals, some rock, and yeah, all right, I'll take them. I'd love to represent them. And 2 weeks ago, they were delivered. Now, what makes the ESE, or the steroid treatment, as I like to call it, different than the Endeavor 3 Mark IIs? Well, first of all, while they may look similar, and we'll pop some screen images up, they may look similar in the photos. You've got a different cabinet. You've got a different cabinet, different shape of the cabinet. And this is the advantages or the upgrades to the ESE. So you've got a different shape of the cabinet. You've got a new tweeter, the beryllium tweeter, the same thing, same tweeter that's used in all the Ultra series. You've got a different binding post and binding post plate, which makes a difference. You also have a rear firing ribbon tweeter, an ambient tweeter they call it, with a volume pot down there on the binding post. I'll pop a picture of that. This just lets you dial in the air and some space into the room. It's the first time I've ever had a speaker with a rear firing tweeter, and it works. You also have, what they've done is they've given it the Ultimate Series, or their Ultra Series, crossover topology, the master built cables internally, and not only the topology, but it's the Ultra Series parts that are in there as well. So new cabinet. Comes with the luxurious and expensive, I might add. It's gorgeous paint, which is an upgrade for the E3 Mark IIs. New binding post plate. Different, not only the cabinet's different, but the bracing inside is different. And then you have that Ultra Series crossover topology with the parts. And I'm telling you, it's worth it. And then wired with the master built cables. So these things, when only 2 weeks on them, so they're barely broken in. But I sat in my room a day ago and I took some notes, and I ran down a few of the songs that I played and took some notes on this. And so I'm going to talk about music as well, and I'm going to pop up the album covers in the resolutions that I listen to, and you can go out and get them. Most of this stuff's available on Qobuz or Tidal, and you can listen to what I listen to, what I evaluate things with. But the one thing that just struck me is these things play big. They play deep. They are a full range speaker, and they can play loud. For a relatively, it's under their small footprint speaker on their webpage, but these things can play loud, big, and deep. And when I say deep, low in the bottom end and a deep soundstage. When Leif was here and listening with me, when he dropped by that evening with the pair of speakers, it blew his mind. The size of the soundstage, the scale that these small footprint speakers throw. I mean, you can tell that they're Ultimate Series parts in there, because while they're part of the Endeavor line, they could they sound like Ultimate Series speakers. So, what did I queue up? The first thing I queued up is just a favorite of mine. It's a DSD or SACD recording on Harmonia Mundi. It's John Nakamitsu. He's the pianist, playing Gershwin, and the Rhapsody in Blue. I mean, here's, 10 minutes of just pure bliss. It sounded so alive. It was just alive sounding. There was a fullness and a scale and detail that I heard that really, it was amazing. I'm laughing because here we've got Leif is calling in. Well, he's going to have to wait. He doesn't know I'm doing this, by the way. When you get this video, Von Schweikert will get this video. I thought so much of the speaker, I thought I would surprise him with this. But yeah, there's the scale, the depth, this aliveness, and also the left hand of the piano. I listen for that because in so many speakers, and cables do it as well, there's a suck out. The left hand plays and you don't hear it, or it's down a couple of dB. This is rich, full. You hear every key. Yeah. So if you don't know this disc, check it out. Another thing is just a regular CD version of Harry James, Sheffield Lab recording of Harry James, and it's the King James version. I use this to set up speakers, set up systems. It's fantastic. Harry James, live the 2-track, with his big band. And, you know, you can't play a big band and make it sound like a big band on small speakers. Well, until you get to the ESEs, because these things swing. They truly do. It's, I mean, the dynamics, the body of that baritone sax when it comes in. Harry on his trumpet. This is a recording that you should definitely listen to. Then there's the Defia. Three-cornered hat. Answer May conducting. Very famous recording. You've heard me talk about it before. I've got it in quad DSD from HD transfers. Quad DSD from HD transfers. This is where they take the master tape and do a pull, they say. They just take it right to quad DSD, right from the tape. You're not getting closer. You're not getting closer to the master tape than this. And this is through the Tambaki DAC. Using, you know, all of this is through the Moa Moa Tambaki DAC. But it starts off with these castanets going, and they're so deep and so natural, and you get this perfect decay these speakers give. And I think that ambient tweeter has something to do with that as well. It's just there in space. And then a big vocal comes in, female vocal. And it's special. Check that out. When I was listening to that, and I know it well, I know it really well, and when I was listening to it, I forgot I was listening to a stereo system. It just transported me. It caught the hall. This is the one recording when you have the right speakers, the right electronics in the right room, and it's set up properly, it will fool you that you are there. Live recording, amazing. Then there was a new artist that I got turned on to about a year ago, doing a reissue. This is just this. I don't have the CD. I don't have the digital recording. I pull it off of Qobuz. It's also available on Tidal. It's not high res. 1644. New artist by the name of Noella. Pop it on the screen here, and it's just her and a piano playing, and that voice is perfectly centered. It has the perfect height. That's another thing. Small footprint speakers. I mean, big speakers will give you proper soundstage height. But these little ones, sometimes, you know, and a lot of people are used to sort of looking down on their system when they listen. No, she's up there. And just speechless, that voice. It's an unbelievable voice, and the way that it came through, I just was thinking, she's an angel. Check this recording out, and you should come in here and hear it on the ESEs. And then there's one of my, one of my favorite, yeah, definitely not my favorite because I don't have a favorite violinist. I have many favorite violinists, but one of my favorite violinists is Arabella Steinbacher, a German girl, German father and Japanese mother, on pentatone SACD. I've got the DSD files of it. We'll pop it up here on the screen. She was 9, if you don't know her, you should, because she was 9 years old when she went to attending the College of Music at Munich. 9 years old, and she's in the College of Music in Munich, Germany. Playing a 1716 Stradivarius. She can play the heck out of that thing, and it sounds so sweet. But and my favorite piece on this album, it's Prokofiev's Violin Concerto 1 and 2. And that second violin concerto is one of my favorite pieces. Just super special. And actually the second movement's my favorite out of that. But at the end of the first movement, there's some acoustic stand-up bass. And just the volume of air that these speakers moved, it was hard to fathom coming out of these speakers. In fact, I played it. I'm on Rune with my iPad, and I had to go and cue it up again. It was like, oof. You can just feel. It's a huge room too. There's a lot of air, a lot of space, open room, and it just moved this air, and I was just absolutely blown away. And then, okay, so we've got big band, we've got some, the Gershwin's sort of a jazz piano piece. Nuella's the female solo voice. We've got a classical piece with some operatic stuff in the Answer Maze, in the Defia's three-cornered hat. I'm covering the gamut here, and now let's throw in some rock. And on Qobuz, I found Nirvana's at $24.96, that Nevermind album. That's one of the top 50 albums of all time. And I kicked on that In Bloom song, where Dave Grohl starts it off on, he's the drummer of Nirvana, and it was on that album. And there was a drum kit. There was a drum kit in the room. The space around the drums, you can hear into the drums. Huh. You got to check that out. And then the song Pauli with Novoselic on bass. At the beginning, when he starts that was an oh my God moment. It really was. So we have a lot of great speakers here, and all the YGs. We've got the big PMCs. We've got Genelec, the keys. We have a lot of stuff, and you know that. And we only carry high-end. But these speakers retail for $25,000, and I don't think I've ever seen a $25,000 full-range speaker do what these speakers do in such a small cabinet, as a small footprint, as they say. I mean, I don't know, it's probably a foot by a foot, and they go up. Again, I'll pop them up on the screen. But this is something that, if you're looking for speakers in that ballpark, you should give me a call. We should talk about it. If you can, you should come in and listen to them. I think these are a real winner. Please share this video, pass it around. I'm looking for help building this channel. So forward it around, post it on your Facebook, forward it to friends. So share it, like it. That helps us with YouTube. If you actually click the little thumbs up button at the bottom and comment. The more comments and the more I answer the comments, the more we get ranked within YouTube. So, and subscribe. Know when these videos come out. So like, share, subscribe, comment below, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.